So let's have a look at Smooth Cotton from Fotospeed. Well, hello and welcome to this Fotospeed video, as always with me, Tim Jones. Today what we're going to be looking at is we are going to be looking at the signature paper, Smooth Cotton. And we're going to do a bit of an overview of the paper, a bit like we did with the Baryta. So if you haven't watched that one, please go back and watch that as well. And to print a variety of different pictures on this paper, black and white, colour, wildlife, landscape, kind of bit of street, bit of portraiture, bit of everything in here. Now, I've kept the same pictures as I have in the Baryta video. So we can, a bit later on, towards the end of the video, I want to just compare between a few of these, just to see what kind of differences I'm actually seeing between the Smooth Cotton and Baryta. Both are really smooth type papers. The Smooth Cotton is made of 100% cotton though, and is a matte paper, whereas the Baryta is kind of the semi-gloss type of paper. But before we dive into any of that, as always, please don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button. And also don't forget to sign up to our newsletter for all the news from us here at Fotospeed, but also exclusive discounts. And this week we are going to be having a discount on the Smooth Cotton paper as well, so well worth signing up to that. Also, don't forget to download the Art of Printing from Fotospeed, the free ebook that gives you everything you need to know about printing, from colour management to framing to mounting and absolutely everything in between. So just go on the Fotospeed website and just click the Fotospeed Art of Printing to download your free copy of that. So let's have a look at the Fotospeed signature paper, Smooth Cotton. Okay, so Smooth Cotton is part of our signature range. And the person who's put their name to this paper is the fabulous Joe Cornish. Now, Joe uses a bit of a mixture between Smooth Cotton and Platinum Cotton now as well, but I'm going to do a separate video on Platinum Cotton just to kind of show you the differences between the two and why you might want one or the other. But today we're going to be focusing on Smooth Cotton, which, as I said before, is 100% cotton paper. Now, it is a natural white paper. It doesn't have that bright white finish to it. However, it's not as warm as others. So there is a very, very slight hint of, say, some optical brightness in there as well. Very, very smooth paper and feels beautiful in your hand. It's kind of got this smooth finish. And then if you're on the reverse, you can actually feel those kind of cotton fibers coming through. So they look absolutely fantastic as well. One little tip when I'm thinking about kind of printing on this paper is, because it's a matte paper and because of the nature of that 100% cotton, it will just kind of flatten your contrast very, very slightly. So I normally say to people, you may need to just put a couple of points of contrast or just exaggerate that tone curve very, very slightly when you're printing on this paper. As you can see by this array of pictures, we've got quite a varied kind of subject matter here. So, I mean, let's start with the portraits, because it does black and white beautifully because of that kind of higher white point. And the smoothness, the gradients are held really, really nicely. But also don't discount it for colour, because colour looks absolutely fantastic. Now, I've printed these on the Pro 1000 and I've used custom profiles. Well, for the black and whites, I should say I've used the black and white mode of the Pro 1000 to give that beautiful neutral print. But with the colour pictures, I've used a custom profile, which I'd always recommend. And it has just come out beautiful. The colour, I picked this one for a very good reason, to make the colour pop here. And it's handled these kind of oranges and greens and things really, really nicely and held the detail beautifully. Sometimes with matte papers, and especially cotton-based papers, we can lose a little bit of detail. It just softens very, very slightly. However, smooth cotton keeps that detail lovely and crisp and sharp. So really, really nice. It's held all this lovely detail in the jacket here on this one. So really, really impressed with it. It makes me want to print on it, I think. I don't print on it enough, that means. I'm kind of more towards the Barytas and gloss art fibres and such at the minute. However, it makes me want to print some of my work on the smooth cotton. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now, it can also be used for kind of something that you probably wouldn't think matte papers could be, which is kind of street photography. Works really nice. Again, in colour and black and white, look absolutely fantastic and come out really, really nice. Beautiful detail again, held the colour. I mean, this bag is absolutely pin sharp on here. And it's held all the lovely detail in the brickwork here. Really, really nice finish. This one's got a lovely kind of grain effect over the top, or it's shot on film. Looks absolutely fantastic. Looks lovely. It's held lovely detail. It's even got kind of the tarmac here and those little grains in the tarmac. Looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. And it's these two pictures that kind of made me think about my street work and maybe having a few tests on smooth cotton, probably a little bit later this afternoon. But let's look at a landscape here. Again, a colour landscape, looks absolutely fantastic. Now this is probably a good point to actually bring in a Baryta and actually look at the differences between the two. Now, hopefully we can see this on camera. I haven't quite got the border the same, but forgive me for that. But the water actually here, there isn't much difference, I don't think, between the two. Printed with custom profiles again. And the more I look at it, actually, the colours are pretty good. The colours are pretty good. The punch as well, it's just lost very slightly on the smooth cotton. It has just lost a little bit of crispness, like in contrast-wise and tone-wise. However, I do prefer the smooth cotton version. And this goes back to a point I say quite a bit, actually. You may have heard me say it before, where we can use a paper as an editing tool. We don't need to move that slider or add any kind of move the slider down to kind of take away any contrast or anything. What we can do is just print it, say, on a matte paper or like this smooth cotton paper, and it will just soften everything just a little bit. Compared now, like I said, I quite prefer, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Baryta, it just looks a little bit contrast-wise, like really in your face when we actually put it side by side with the smooth cotton. It looks beautiful as well. I mean, white point-wise, there's not a lot in it, to be honest. So it's a good comparison, and we've held lovely detail in both of these. Really, really impressed with these. They look great. And especially compared to the Baryta, just these little grass bits here, it's just a little bit, just brought it down very, very slightly. So there's just that little bit of detail there for us. And it's the same goes if I bring back the street picture here, because if I compare it to the Baryta, we have lost a tiny bit of contrast here. But the Baryta almost looks a little bit dark in comparison. And we've got a tiny little bit more detail in kind of these areas here. Which one I prefer, I can't really tell in here. I think with the landscape, with the smooth cotton, both look fantastic. I would say possibly Baryta just has a little bit more punch with this subject and just looks really, really nice. Where the black here, I prefer it on the Baryta. It just looks a little bit more intense. So perhaps the smooth cotton is just kind of flattening that black. Now the black point is very slight, although it does have quite a high Dmax with it. It is going to be a different type of black you're going to get between a semi-gloss like the Baryta and then also like the smooth cotton. There is going to be a difference between the two. So let's finally look at these two pictures here, which are wildlife pictures. Both on smooth cotton, look absolutely great. And have held detail really, really nicely. This one's got a little bit of grain in and it looks great, maybe shot on film. Whereas this one has just held the lovely detail in the grasses here and such and looks fantastic. Really, really nice. So it can handle anything. Don't be put off by it. Some people can be a little bit put off by matte papers, and especially the smooth cotton, because it does take a tiny little bit of work to get right. And it can just flatten things very, very slightly, as we saw in that street scene between the Baryta and the smooth cotton. Now I want to finish by just talking a little bit about the black point of the paper as well. So I'm just going to bring back this portrait and the Baryta version, because you can see here, and I think this one demonstrates it quite well, in how the smooth cotton can just flatten an image very, very slightly. It's got a different black point here in the glasses and around the jacket here. Now, both are lovely prints. I'd kind of be happy with both, but just bear in mind the Baryta is probably going to give you a better match to your screen, possibly because you've got that glossy screen going on. It's just got a little bit of definition just because of that contrast. And because we're losing that little bit of contrast with the smooth cotton, it just softens things a little bit. So this kind of gives the print a different kind of feel. So this one's a little bit more kind of upfront. We're kind of almost challenged by the subject and what's going on. Whereas because it's on the smooth cotton, it's just brought that contrast down a little bit for us. It's almost drawing us in a little bit more, perhaps. For me, anyway, in my opinion. So that is, I think, a really good example of how a paper can kind of change the mood of something and really kind of affect how we feel about a subject. It could perhaps soften and draw us in a little bit, and there's something going on here. And it's the same picture and the same look on the model's face. But just because of paper choice, we've kind of got this upfront kind of standing up to you print on the Baryta. And then we've got this, I want to say vulnerable. I don't know if that's kind of right, but it sounds kind of right, that it's this almost drawing you into the picture. For me, anyway. So I hope that comes across on camera as well, because it's very, very subtle, but it can affect you and can change how your photography looks. And maybe it's something to think about of how you want to portray your work. And both are absolutely fantastic. But for me, in this case, I really, really like the version on smooth cotton. It just looks fantastic. Just really, really, really nice. Held detail beautifully. So hopefully that's given you kind of an overview of smooth cotton and kind of the advantages of it. I should say it's 300 gram as well. So it's a nice heavyweight art paper. It is approved by the Fine Art Trade Guild, so it's part of their art show. We had it tested, it's pH neutral, it's got light fastness, we've got the certificate, and it's perfect for all your fine art prints as well when used with pigment inks. It can be used on dye and pigment, absolutely fine. And it is a really, really beautiful paper. It's a very delicate paper, and hopefully I've shown you, it can hold detail absolutely beautifully. So perhaps get the test pack. It's in our Fine Art Smooth test pack, along with, say, like the likes of Platinum Cotton and NST Bright White, etc., and Art Smooth and things like that. So really, really worth kind of having a try of it and see if you like it. It's not going to be for everyone. You may go back to NST Bright White, or you might be a Baryta person or a legacy person. So it's well worth a try though, just to see if it suits your work. And like I said, it's not going to suit everyone. Okay, well, I hope that's been okay, and it's given you something to think about when looking at papers, and kind of my thinking around kind of what I think about when I'm choosing papers as well. So don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button. Also sign up to our newsletter, because like I said, this week we've got exclusive discounts on the Fotospeed Smooth Cotton. And also it allows you to keep up to all the news here at Fotospeed. And also don't forget to download the Art of Printing, the free ebook from us here at Fotospeed, which will cover absolutely everything from turning your printer on to colour management to framing to mounting and everything in between. And also don't forget that I'm here every Thursday with a new video. So until next week, bye bye.